So let's say, so now we're going to talk about the discriminant. The discriminant. I think I spelled that right. And the discriminant is that little piece of the quadratic formula b squared minus 4ac. Why is this important? Because this determines whether or not your answers are going to be real or imaginary. In other words, let's take the example 2 x squared plus 5x plus 7. And let's say I said determine whether or not the roots will be real or imaginary. Well, you don't have to do the entire quadratic formula to determine that. All you have to do is deal with this part right here. So if I put it into my formula, I get 5 squared minus 4 times a times c, which gives me 25 minus, let's see, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 7 is 56, absolutely right, which gives me the square root of negative 31. Now, what do you know about negative 31? Right, it's going to be, this really is a I-31, right? Because this is imaginary. You can't have a square root of a negative number. So so check this out. I automatically know that this right here is going to have an imaginary root. Okay? So that's what the discriminant does. So let's do a couple of problems. Or rather, let's do one problem. We'll use the discriminant first to determine whether or not it will be imaginary and then find the roots. So this is problem 124. And it goes 2x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. 2x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. So the discriminant is just this b squared minus 4ac piece. So this is going to be the square root of b in this case is negative 1. So we'll have negative 1 squared minus 4 times 2 times 6. Okay. Which then this becomes 1 minus 48. Oh, I'm sorry. Negative. Right. And so then we end up with the square root of, and let me just say, C was negative 6. My bad. It was negative 6. So this is going to be 49. Oh, yeah. And the square root of 49 is just 7. So what does the discriminant tell us? Are we going to have real roots or imaginary? Real. All right. And so remember, our quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. We already know this part, so I'm just going to fill that in with 7 and then fill the rest in. So that'd be negative 1 plus or minus 7 over 2 times a in this case is 2. Right? So then that gives us 1 plus or minus 7 over 4, which then gives us our two cases, which I'll put one right here and I'll put one down here. We're going to have 1 plus 7 over 4, and we'll have 1 minus 7 over 4. 1 plus 7 over 4 yields us 8 over 4, which is just 2. And 1 minus 7 over 4 yields us negative 6 over 4, which is just negative 3 over 2. You can't see it, but negative 3 over 2.